everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Husband Quotes, the channel for marriage advice, marriage entertainment, and everything else marriage. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So shout out to one of my subscribers for wanting me to speak on this video where Devon Franklin said that his ex-wife Meagan Good made more money than him when they first got together. And then I also want to show a clip of Devon saying that he was ghosted by a woman on Snapchat.
I reach out tomorrow, she ghosts me for a week. I said, whoa. Excuse, I said, what? Hello?
This is after him and Meagan got a divorce. But two questions I do have is, do you feel that Meagan Good elevated Devon Franklin as a celebrity? And honey, who is this woman that ghosted Devon Franklin on Snapchat? Now, we all know that Devon Franklin is an American producer, an author, motivational speaker, and a preacher, honey, if I do say so myself. He is 45 years old and says that while he was married to actress Meagan Good, when he first met her, she made more money than him. Now, I highly doubt that was the reason for the divorce. In fact, the reason they cited for the divorce in the first place was irreconcilable differences.
I can tell you, being back in these dating streets, it's a whole nother thing, okay? Before I got married, Meagan was way more successful, and had more money than I did. And I said, thank the Lord. I said, amen. I had no problem with it. I have no problem with it. I said, thank you, Lord. Lord, you're right. I did amazing. And really what I had to do was sift and sort through, okay, well, how did I get here? What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What were the wrong assumptions that I made about myself, about marriage prior to getting married? I really may not have been as good as I could have been in the couple because I wasn't a great single. God didn't create the couple. Initially, he created two individuals that became a couple. Adam is Adam, Eve is Eve, and together they are Adam and Eve, but they each have that individual identity. And that began to speak to me. And so I think that if maybe I had been a better single, right, I may have been better in a couple, right? I wasn't really focusing on who I was, who I was as a person. Whatever problems that I'm not addressing as an individual, as a single, when I'm in a couple, those problems are only going to get magnified. They don't go away. For me, was unpacking the myths that I had going into marriage. If I'm not happy now, I'm not going to be happy then.
So Devon says that if I had lived my life better as a single man, honey, if he had lived his best life as a single man, then maybe he would have been a better husband to ex-wife Meagan Good. And yes, those words that he's saying, it's very relatable. It's relatable to anybody when they can see their mistake after the fact. But let's just keep it real. Why did it take a divorce for Devon to make that realization about himself? In my opinion, it's very important while being married that you continue to work on yourself as an individual. Marriage is when two people become one in the eyes of God, but you can't neglect yourself after becoming the one. And by neglecting yourself, it does eventually show up in your marriage, honey. Unhappiness will arrive at your front door and will knock and ring the doorbell like it belongs there. So that's why you have to continue to work on yourself as an individual, even though you're married. Now, Devon Franklin, who was married to Meagan Good for 9 years, they were actually almost married for 10 years. And if I read it correctly, their divorce was finalized on what would have been their 10-year wedding anniversary. And Devon says that what he learned when he was married to Meagan Good was that being married didn't elevate his emotions, and so that's probably how he went into the marriage. I know that a lot of y'all can relate to me and say that marriage is work, and Devon continues to say that if a person isn't happy now, then they won't be in a marriage. He says that if you learn to cultivate yourself now, then when you do marry, your marriage is enhanced. And then he also says that when a relationship or a marriage doesn't work, we nurse the pain of it, and then we ask God, what could we have done differently? And so Devon continues to say, I had to take the time to mourn the loss of my marriage. And people do say that, when you divorce does feel like death.
That being in a couple is going to elevate your emotional status, because it won't. If you are not happy now, you won't be happy then. If you are not peaceful now, you won't be peaceful then. So what about cultivating the power of who you are right now so that when you're in a relationship, the relationship is enhanced because you've been doing your work? So often when relationships don't work, you still may be nursing the pain of what could you have done. You still may be questioning God about why did it end? And I need you to know that in this thing called love, there is going to be a risk, and we don't always know how it's going to play out. And it's okay to acknowledge the pain of a loss. It's okay to acknowledge that the last relationship you were in, it didn't work out and you thought this person was the one and it stung and you've been questioning yourself and God ever since. And I don't even know why. And so before I could even get to the place of acknowledging for myself that I was one of one, I had to take the time to mourn the loss of my marriage and say, God, I don't understand why. Why did this happen? What was going on? And God says there are certain things you may never get the full answer to. There are some times you got to acknowledge my heart is broken. I need y'all to pray for me. I need help to put this thing back together. Show me a good therapist. Get me some good scriptures. I got to read some good books. It's okay to say, hey, I got a broken heart. I'm not sitting up here talking to you about something that sounds good. I'm telling you what I've learned. I had to acknowledge that, wait a minute, I was bothered, coming out of this marriage and trying to navigate love and all this stuff. I was bothered. And I didn't realize how bothered I was until I realized how unhappy I was. And I'm not talking about in the marriage, I'm talking about after the marriage. So I'm bothered it didn't work out.
And so one last thing that I want to say before I wrap this video is Devon Franklin says that he was ghosted by some woman on Snapchat. And before I play that video, do you think that ex-wife Meagan Good elevated Devon Franklin's celebrity status when they were married? Devon is pretty popular these days, but do you think that Meagan Good had something to do with it? And again, honey, who is this woman that ghosted Devon Franklin on Snapchat? From the clip that I'm about to play you, I don't even know if Devon met the woman, but the story of how he's telling it just tells him how naive he is getting back into these dating streets. So y'all take a listen to the video. Those are my thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comment section of this video. As always, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.
As I have become uncoupled again and gone through the pain of it not working the way that I thought it was going to work, and as I got back into what people call these dating streets, coming out of my marriage, coming out of the situation and trying to figure out who I was, one of the challenges is that most of my identity was tied up in who I was with. Anybody been there before where you found so much identity in who you were with that you lost who you were to begin with? Where you went into something and you just lost yourself, did not know who you were, what you liked, where you wanted to go, where you didn't want to be, because you gave everything and in the process lost yourself. So then coming out of it, I didn't know who I was. It's okay to have standards. I bought into this idea that what if nobody else is going to love me? So watch this. And this is where it gets crazy. So I'm coming out of the marriage and not knowing my value, right? And being closed off to love made me open for manipulation. I hadn't dated in 10 years, okay? I don't know what I'm doing, all right. I said, oh, okay, I'm ready to date. Okay, cool. There was this young lady that said, hey, look, you met her on Snapchat. I said, oh, well, okay. I didn't know nothing about Snapchat. I said, oh, okay. Woo, this is getting uncomfortable, but I'm telling you my truth. It's my truth. I don't care what you think about me. All right, I don't care. All right, I had to learn to keep my field right, okay? Woo. So we started talking. We started, texting and going back and forth and then leaving voice notes. And you ain't got to say, man, yeah, none of y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't none of y'all know what I'm talking about. We going back and forth, we leaving voice notes and doing the whole thing. And then it's like, oh, let's talk on the phone. So we're talking on the phone and the conversation's great and she's funny and all these things. And the conversation was so good. It dawned on me, wait, I haven't seen you. You know who I am, but I have no idea who you are. Okay, all right. Oh boy. So I said, hey, let's FaceTime. She's like, cool, let's do it tomorrow. Great. I reach out tomorrow. She ghosts me for a week. So she finally resurfaces. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been really busy at work and I'm just not used to, having someone to talk to, and my apologies. I'm like, cool. Again, because I did not recognize I was one of one, I was a poor evaluator because I believed that no one else would love me, so I had to deal with whomever came in my field. So watch this, it gets crazier. We get back into talking. Now, mind you, we're just talking on the phone. Conversations are good. We talking like almost every day. I'm like, oh, this is great. But then it dawns on me again, hey, wait a minute. I have not seen you. You know what I look like. You know who I am. I don't know who you are. So I said, let's FaceTime. She said, great, let's do it tomorrow. So I said, okay. And me being I said, fine, great. I hit her up the next day. She ghosted me for another week. When she hits me back, she's like, hey, I'm sorry I lost my phone and I got the new phone. Hold on. So then I'm like, okay, cool. We start talking again. I'm just telling you my truth. Don't judge me. But even if you do, I don't care. It's my truth. If I didn't have this truth, I wouldn't be able to share it with you. So it's okay. You can learn from my mistakes. So we start talking again, and she's like, hey, I'm coming to LA because I'm working out there, and let's get together. I said, great. Comes to LA. She shares with me her location. I'm like, oh, she's actually in LA. Okay. We're talking. Hey, let's meet up at this time. Okay, let's meet up at this time. That time comes and goes. Oh, sorry, I had a death in the family. Y'all, we did not see her. She went back to where she's from. And we keep talking, trying to tell you the dangers of when you don't know you're one of one. All right? You tolerate foolishness, okay? Long story short, this went on for months. And finally I said, hey, I cannot do this. This is crazy. Why don't you want to be seen? But hold on. Here's what happens. I kept telling myself, well, she just needs to feel comfortable. But think about it. We do that. Somebody shows us who they are, and we want them to be someone different. So we create a narrative to change who they really are into who we want them to be. Who am I talking to? Come on now.